You're listening to WKDW Radio 97.5 and KDWRadio.com, broadcasting from the Bishop West Real Estate Mobile Tower right here in Northport, Florida. This is John Rawlings with Real Talk Radio, and I've got a very special guest in the house today, and we're going to be talking about a huge event they have coming up, but I'm going to start that out by introducing my good friend, Michelle Slay. How are you doing, Michelle?
Good, John. How are you doing?
I'm not doing too bad. We've known each other quite a while, and you kind of been through the whole family at this point because you had
True.
Carrie at one end of the school, me at the other end of the school, both on the theater guild and the athletic booster side, and then you had one of our sons at one end of the school and one at the other end of the school, and John and Michael. So we've known each other quite a while, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
So we've been part of the art system at Northport High School for a long while, and you guys have a huge event coming up. Can you give us a quick highlight, first off, of just a quick overview of what the event is, because we're going to dive into that later, but then talk a little bit about who you are and what your position is at the high school.
Okay. Well, my name is Michelle Slay, and I am the arts coordinator, the visual and performing arts coordinator for Northport High School. I'm also one of the dance teachers, and we're putting together a large festival this year as a fundraiser for all of our performing and visual artists here at our school to try to help raise some much needed funds for each of the departments to help support the kids, give them extra learning opportunities and special, trips, things like that. Because we do take a lot of the kids, we try to connect them with colleges and things like that so that they can continue their passions and their studies so that they can hopefully maybe someday, if they choose to, go into professional careers, maybe in the arts.
Well, and let's stop there for a second, because the value of the event itself, let's talk about the progression into college from Northport into one of the colleges, maybe in the state or out of the state. There's some value that comes with that to keep a lot of the younger generation interested in something other than schooling, by the way, that keeps them a little grounded, doesn't it? Isn't that an effect that happens at the school right now?
It does. The arts in general really does help the students develop life skills, a lot of life skills, and there's several employers you can talk to, just about pretty much any employer that's ever had a student that's been involved in the arts. The students have a very specific set of skills, being able to communicate well with other people, having maybe sometimes a little more compassion for other people, patience, anything from just being able to be a fast thinker and being able to adapt quickly to anything that kind of gets thrown their way. So the students, they definitely, I've heard from several employers that how much they really do enjoy the students that have arts background, whether they're, 16, 17, 18, or whether they're grown adults. I can honestly say, as an artist myself, and, growing up through everything, I don't know any of my friends that are not employed in any shape, some shape or form, whether it be in the arts or whether it be in, in another, discipline or another area, so they're pretty, the types of skills that we build, really do grow with you no matter what direction you go in life.
And, I told you earlier in the broadcast that I had both ends of the school covered, because being a booster president, athletic booster president on one end, and having Michael there and wrestling and all the athletics side of things. Then I had John on the other side. There's something to be said about both of those two disciplines being part of anchoring not just the students, but the school itself into the foundation of our community.
Yes.
So can you talk a little bit about what the arts does back for the community at the high school, and how you guys work in conjunction with some of the other organizations out there to really promote the arts here in Northport?
Okay. I know, well, I can tell you, I know our original principal, who started the school, his whole vision for Northport High School was to be the center pillar for the community. I know that's something that I think several of us who have been here on our staff for a long time, really took to heart and have tried to continue that moving forward, as we've moved forward and have grown and changed and, developed. And we have several groups that go out and perform in the community. They perform with different community groups. We're always open to, coming out into the community anytime we're invited. We're always more than happy to try to put something together. It's nice when, we can set up those things, early, in the school year, or even at the end of one school year for the next year, to be able to give us time to prepare, because we really like to put out quality material, for our community. And we're always happy to do that. And I know, like, one event that we have, like with the dance program, one way we've been trying to work on, building community within the dance community here, from basically the South County area of Sarasota, even into Charlotte, because we do, Charlotte is part of our community, even though we are Sarasota County, they are still part of our community, because, we go over and we shop and support, and, everything Charlotte, as well as, Sarasota area. So I think that that's really important, when you're talking about, having that hometown feel, because we still do have that hometown feel down here, even though we're expanding pretty rapidly. And I don't think anybody really wants to lose that. So we really do want to do that. In this festival that we're putting together, has been something that actually our staff here at the high school has talked about for years, and we just, never had the opportunity to really pull everything together and try to do it. So I was like, let's go ahead and let's do it, and get everybody in. So we're opening, a lot of things, to even just the community. We have a whole section in the middle of the day that's going to be devoted to anyone in the community that's a performer or a artist, that want to come out and, show and sell their, their artwork, or, want to come out and perform.
Yep.
I know Lamarck Elementary's choir is coming out to sing, and the Bird's Eye Music Store, they're bringing some of their students that come and study with them. They're coming out to perform as well.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule, because
Okay.
you guys did something kind of unique. Instead of spreading this out over several weeks and having multiple events, you kind of got creative with a one day, I would say, an arts adventure at
Mm-hmm.
this point, right? Can
Yes.
you kind of go over that a little bit and give some highlights, and then we'll dig into it a little bit?
Okay, sure. Basically, what we're doing is we took the idea of three separate events, and we're combining them into a full day. So the full day is going to be called For the Love of the Arts Festival. That is what everything is blanketed under. And any of the proceeds from the event are going to support all the performing arts here at Northport High, the performing and visual arts, here at Northport High School. The beginning of the day is going to start at 8 o'clock, and we have a color run, a 5K color run. You can run or walk it, and it starts at 8 and ends when the last person finishes the finish line. And then as soon as they finish that, that's going to roll into at 10 o'clock. We're going to have artist vendors here in front of the school that are going to be set up, as well as we have several food trucks that have already committed to coming out and supporting this event, which we're super excited about. So if you don't want to come buy artwork, come get a good lunch. And they're going to be here to do that as well. And then that's going to be from 10 o'clock in the morning until 3. And then we're going to have a brief little breather in the middle of the day as we transition into our evening galas. So we have a little bit more like an upscale, nice evening out. So if anyone's looking for a nice date night out, we have a jazz themed gala that we are doing. It's going to be all of the VPA students that are some of the VPA students that are performing are going to be highlighted. We have our jazz band, which most people know our jazz band is absolutely phenomenal. And we have some of our vocal students that are going to be singing. We have our musical theater students are going to be performing a piece from Hadestown. We also have our dancers are doing a piece and doing two pieces. And the culinary department here at the high school, and if no one's ever eaten from our culinary department, they are amazing. And they are providing the dinner for the gala event. And it is going to be a New Orleans inspired chicken dinner. And then we are also have during the evening event, we also have a silent auction as well that's going on. With the silent auction, I can tell you now, we have some really cool silent auction items. We have Sarasota Ballet has been gracious to donate 2 tickets to their premiere of Les Lafide, which is coming up. And we also have tickets from Sarasota Contemporary Dance, who has been a huge supporter. Lamus from there, she and I have been friends ever since I started teaching here at Northport High. And so they have donated tickets as well. We have the Sonny's Comedy Club, Heron Creek Country Club, Achieva Credit Union in Venice. So we have several different things, and there's more than just those things, but that's just kind of a teaser, if that helps. And then the evening gala is going to start at 5:00. So everyone can come at 5, start putting their bids in between 5 and 6. The dinner and performances will start at 6:00, and that will go until about 7:30. And then we'll have another little half hour between 7:30 and 8. That will be the wrap up of the silent auction and giving those items out. And also too, when everyone goes in to visit the silent auction, our artists, all of our student artists, they are going to have a huge gallery walk there in the Performing Arts Center, because we're using the courtyard. So this the gala event is outdoors in our front courtyard, which is actually very beautiful in the evening. Dr. Bradley and I have done 2 shows in past years, and the response from the crowd every time we've done them out there with a dinner and everything, everybody's always loved it. So we were like, let's go ahead and do a really nice gala and put together the silent auction with it. I can tell you the seating is limited on that event. We only have about 160 seats that we can comfortably fit in the front courtyard there. So that is a first come, first serve on that one. And those tickets can be purchased at our box office, or they can also be purchased on our website here online that you have there displayed, John.
How much are the tickets for the gala?
The gala tickets are $50 a person. So
that's still not a bad price, because you're getting a whole lot of entertainment along with that, right?
Correct.
And so you've got, and that the gala starts at what time?
At 5:00, and then goes until 8.
Yeah, so you're talking 3 hours. You're talking your food served in the meantime.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things people should expect from the gala?
I would say from the gala event, a very fun, entertaining evening of jazz music, very upbeat jazz music, and an extremely wonderful dinner. Because our culinary department, I tell you, they do some special things for our staff here quite often, and they always put together such an amazing meal anytime they put anything together, and I can't say enough about them. They're always do a wonderful job.
And isn't it nice to have the connection with the inner workings of the school with the culinary arts program, and then yourselves actually kind of, I think, promoting a lot of things within the same event.
Hmm. I think that's one of the, I think, the nicest things about Northport High School in general, that as a staff that I've been able to witness, is how we're able to like use and combine and collaborate with different departments within our school and really put together some unique opportunities that not every school's able to do. And I think we're very privileged, to be very honest with you, to be able to have, access to the programs that we have here. And our students, the students really have quite an amazing opportunity, to be part of these and to do events like this and gain, the experience of being able to perform for our community and really, show how much they love what they do.
Explain a little bit on how it is with the students and their interaction with. I even believe the different departments now. I mean, you've got theater kids really kind of now having to kind of talk to and because I know this is just not teacher driven. You've got some students behind this that are really trying to connect the dots and learn and also drive this benefit to be something of higher value.
Mhm.
Talk about the camaraderie between the culinary arts program and the kids in the theater program and kind of highlight that a little bit.
I think that one of the really nice things is that we do actually have some students sometimes, even within our performing arts programs, that also are like in culinary, and vice versa, which is really good because I had a student that just graduated last year that was in culinary for 4 years and in dance for 4 years, and she did our VPA program. And it was really cool because she loved both things, and it was great, for her to be able to do both. And then when we had things, she was able to participate and really do a lot of different things. Our staff, I will say, they're great at collaborating with each other and supporting one another. And the students, I think, pick up on that as well, and, kind of follow, that collaboration, that collaborative spirit that we all have working with one another. And the students get to interact with each other too, and they're very supportive of one another and are always like, "Oh wow, that was so good, that I loved what the taste of that." Or they'll come and, and the culinary kids love that because they know they made that. That's personal to them, and then vice versa. They'll be like, "Oh, I love the piece that you guys did. That was so funny." Or that was, they're very supportive of one another, in that aspect. And it also gives the students, when they collaborate, I think, a chance, especially when they're in other disciplines, it gives them a chance to see what each other do and share what they do and why they're so good at what they do, or have become so good at what they do. And another thing too, I will tell you, our ROTC program here at the school, they are also helping us. They are going to be our ushers for the gala in the evening, and they're helping on that end of things, which Commander Barnes has always been a huge support of the arts. His daughter's actually a dancer, a college graduate, professional dancer now,
Right.
and things like that. So it's nice when I think the students can have an opportunity, to get to see each other and work together as well for something like, like these events. It gives them a good set of skills to be able to learn to collaborate with other people, and, maybe people that aren't necessarily, because, I mean, the arts and, you know, are a little bit different from ROTC, and things like that. So, it's a little bit different mindset um, as far as like what they do, but as far as the end result of what they're all trying to do is, they're trying to conduct themselves in a way that's, you know, presentable and respectful, to other people. And they're learning a lot on how to communicate with each other. And it's a great thing, to be able to have them, and a great opportunity to be able to have them work together.
And so I'm going to stick there for a second because having experienced all this all the way through, and then remembering back way back, way back. Arts has taken a different hold in our classrooms today than they were, say, 20, 25 years ago, or a little older than that. I don't want to go there, but the arts they've come a long way, but this direct connection that we have here at Northport, I find very fascinating, because you're not just drawing in the theater parents, the theater kids. You're drawing in ROTC, you're drawing in the culinary arts, and you're doing these things. And I've got to believe that helps anchor some of the, I don't want to call it behavior, but I want to call it camaraderie,
Yeah,
really
it does.
between the students. And I think it kind of opens up a floodgate that we didn't have before. And you guys really are pushing it open by saying, hey, let's do this. And everybody's getting excited about it. Do you see that as a value when you're teaching every day?
Yes, I do, because it has a big effect on the way that the kids respond, on a daily basis, and their engagement in the classroom. Because I feel when we give the students the opportunity to participate in things like this and take ownership of their school, and have, build pride in their school and the product that they put out. I feel the more we can give the students the opportunity to do that, the more ownership they have. And, this is becomes their second home, and they take great pride in what they do and what they present and how they present it, to the community. And I think that is extremely valuable.
So with this, I want to draw a connection, though, with the community itself, because this event can only go well if the community supports it, and
Correct.
if sponsors realize that there's some benefit to this. And I would tell the sponsors, having been a part of the organization itself, that truly the benefit is not always necessarily in the high rate of return, but it is in the visual return, and then I think, support of the high school and the high schoolers themselves,
Mm-hmm.
to get through the harder years of growing up. I say that because
It's true.
high school is just not the same as it was a while back, but to see our community supporting it with a full house, to see our community getting involved, as far as even the smallest of donations from a sponsor, is welcome, right?
Anything helps.
Anything.
Anything helps.
And you can only grow an event one step at a time. And this is this the first annual? Truly?
Yes, this is the first one. First
And
go around for it. And I,
it,
and I do realize sometimes that things start out small, but
sure.
we definitely want to make this a big event, and we would love my goal long term is to make this an annual event, so that this is a full community annual event every year that people look forward to coming out and participating in, and, enjoying. And that's kind of one of my big things. And we do, just, to piggyback off what you were just saying, we do have still several sponsorship opportunities available. We have from our color run booths, if someone would like to sponsor, if a business would like to sponsor like a color run booth for the 5K, because this is a color run where they get to throw the color on people. And so we have opportunities that way if someone would like to sponsor one of those.
Explain that a little bit. Explain what that sponsor is and what a color race is, because okay. I'm sure that there are people out there going, what is that?
Okay, the color run, the 5K color runs, what those are, they're considered what they would call in the race world a fun run. Okay, so it means it's not a timed run. So that means you can walk it or you can run it, however you choose to do it to get through the finish line. And as you're going through the run, there's certain stations, and we are hoping to be able to have 5 stations completely around the area. And at each station, you're going to get a different color. It's a color powder. It's a non-toxic, friendly color powder that is tossed out on the runners as they run through that section. And so then you get very, very dirty and very colored. And by the time you get done, you look like a big collage by the time you're all done. And it's a complete blast. You can bring your friends and have, an absolute just fun time. I know I have one of my principals, as soon as she found out about it, she grabbed like 3 of her girlfriends and all 3 of them signed up. So they're all coming out to run in it as well too. And I know we have several runners in the community. So I would like to encourage any of the runners that are out in the community to come on out. And any of our non-runners, if you just want to come out and have a good time and gather a couple friends, in the morning and, go through and have a great time, and get a little messy and, just come out and have fun with your friends. That's what it's all about, is celebrating the arts and, just having a great time. I have the Mr. Fu. I have our track cross country extraordinaire. He is, if you don't know this in the community, our high school is very well known for their cross country team. And we just happen to have Mr. Fu, who is not just cross country, but he's also one of our art teachers. So, yep. And he is an extremely talented artist and does amazing artwork. But he has our campus mapped out. He has the perfect 5K route mapped out on our campus. So much so that each year, the cross country team has a huge cross country event that they host here at the high school that is for the high school cross country teams. They have 80 teams that come out here every year. And it started off small, but it has built up to about 80 teams from all over the country, from all over the state. And I think there's a few schools that come from out of state, if I'm not mistaken. And the college recruiters come to that as well too. So you'll actually get to experience the 5K route that that the high school students run. And because we have a little wooded area on our campus, not every campus has that, you get to go through that area as well too. So that's part of that cross country track. So it's not just concrete.
Yeah, but once again, you're kind of drawing
trails.
All of this together because you're mm-hmm. conquering a couple things, and Coach Fu is awesome.
Yes.
My story about Coach Fu and his art was back in 08. I think it was 08 or I think it was 07. He actually did a mural on the side of the restroom out by the football field. Mm-hmm. And it actually changed the look of that building.
Yes.
Because it added some really good value, I think, for mm-hmm. people to go and look at it and realize that there's some really cool talent there. Mm-hmm. Coach Fu was gracious enough to do all that. Yep. And having him part of this, you're kind of drawing in that 5K and cross country into it, because now the folks that are going to do the 5K are going to experience what the high schoolers are experienced through mm-hmm. Coach Fu. Man, you've kind of I don't know whether you looked at this way or not, but you've kind of taken over the whole school, so to speak.
Yes. I truly have.
Yeah, and that's
not easy to do with as many activities as we have on this campus on a daily basis. Right. It was like I literally had to go to our athletic director right at the beginning of the school year and say, hey, Tony, this is the idea, what can we do? You know what I mean? To support this, to make sure that we can have access to all these areas. And he's like, okay. He said, well, we sat down and we looked at dates and, talked about what worked best, around everybody's schedules. And this is, where we came up with, and it worked out that it was right there around, it's right before Valentine's Day. So that's part of the reason why we came up with For the Love of the Arts. And actually Dina Henderson, who you know quite well, one of
Yes.
our theater teachers, was when I kind of explained what I was looking for in that, she's actually the one that came up with the name. So which I loved it, and I was like, yes, Dina, that's it. So
Well, I'm encouraged in this regard too, because if you share this video, and I hope you do with some of these sponsors out there, I think that what a sponsor really likes when they're looking at something like this is how connected is the school with the event.
mhm,
And you not only have connected students, but you've connected staff to
mhm,
this, and you've got some. I don't want to put this in no uncertain terms. Some love of the arts sprinkled throughout the school right now,
mhm,
and any event that's out there needs to have a little push behind it. And sponsors are a great way of kind of pushing it along. So I would highly encourage any sponsors take a look, and if you've got a chance to share this video with any potential sponsors, because the amount of work, the amount of effort that goes in from the administration side of it, let alone down to the students and the actual culinary arts program that have to prepare all the food trucks that are going to come out and plan on a nice sized crowd.
mhm,
This is our opportunity as Northport strong to step
mhm,
up and actually be strong for the arts program that actually is doing this really with the focus of outcome for kids.
mhm.
And I hope I put that well enough for you. And I if there's anything you want to add in there, please do.
Yeah, no, that I fully agree with that. And then, like the middle of the day, with the whole idea with doing the festival like in the middle of the day from the 10 to 3 time frame, was to highlight the community, all of our community artists. So like we've reached out to, the dance studios, we're reaching out to, still reaching out to everyone, within the community. We've reached out to, like Rockbox and several different places, and it's up to them if they choose to participate, but we want to encourage, any of the artists in the local area that have, that would, like to showcase and sell their artwork, please, come out, and sign up. We have the page that you can see right now. If you're able to see it, you can go to it, or if not, you can go to northportvpa.org. That is our website. And if you click on the events tab and you scroll down, you'll see the Love of the Arts area. It's very colorful. And below that, there are 3 links there, for one for the registration and sign up for the color bond. The one in the middle is the registration and sign up for the Artist Venders. So any performing vendor doesn't need to sign up on the Artist Vendor one. They can email me directly, and then we can get them set up in in a time slot. But for the Artist Vendors that would like a table or an area to be able to display their work and sell it, they just need to go on and register there. The registration for the Artist Vendors is $30, and that gives them a 10 by 10 open space there. We're going to set that up in the actual senior parking lot, which is close to the gym, right up there. And then the food trucks we're gonna line the food trucks in the arc there from the gym toward the stadium, in that area there. So everything will be kind of located all right there in one area. And then we're doing kind of like a live stage area in what we affectionately call here at Northport High School. We call it Stonehenge. And that's the big concrete grass area right there in the very front center of the school that you see in front of the roundabout.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a bring your blanket, bring your chair, kind of thing. And so we want to set that area up as a performance area, stage area there. And then that's primarily what we've got there. And then also, I didn't get to tell you this yet, but our theater department actually has a performance going on that weekend. It's a play, and it's called Check Please. And they are actually at Mr. Oliver went ahead and Ryan Oliver, who's one of our theater directors, he went ahead and adjusted his times in that to be able to fit in with the festival. So they have a performance there inside the Performing Arts Center at 1 o'clock, and they'll have tickets there that people can buy at the box office if they want to go in and watch that show. But the performances, the community performances there out in the front, are all free. Everyone can come out and enjoy the day, and come and peruse through the artist vendors and see if there's anything that any treasures they would like to purchase and take home, and grab a bite to eat and support our food truck vendors, who are actually supporting us as well too. So I know all the food truck vendors that we have coming have agreed to donate anywhere from 10 to 20% back to all the performing arts from their sales that day, which is really quite gracious of them, to do that. And we're very thankful and happy to have them here as well too.
So I want to take a look at the oh my gosh, I think that question just went out of my head, but I'm sure I'm going to come up with another one really quick. But the food and everything else that's happening there, that's targeted towards helping the program, but it also spotlights a lot of the food trucks that we haven't had in our area for a long time. And this is now like a new thing for Northport. So that's kind of another connection that you've made out that we really need to support, because that's another growing aspect of our community.
Right. Those are some of our local small businesses, right there, that, and they put out, some amazing products. I know a lot of people, seek out the trucks now. I have friends in that are, and even myself, there's certain ones that I seek out all the time. So, I think it's great. And I think the more that we can support, our community as a whole, I think it's fantastic. And, we can help, everybody grow and, show everybody why Northport is, a special area.
Yep, I agree. One of the things, and this is the question I had forgotten, and I talked myself right into it again, which is fantastic for me for being as old as I am. So the connection with the elementary schools and the middle schools and what they see in the theater program, because I know that you guys have a really good crossover with a lot of these programs, the dance studios, different things like that. Where do you see this kind of inspiring these younger kids to get involved and maybe stay involved at the high school level?
I think it's important. I know one of the things, like, I can honestly say, since Northport has, we've been pushing to become the South County Visual and Performing Arts magnet for years. And we were just given that distinction actually 2 years ago. And unlike most schools that are, designated as a magnet school, we're not traditionally, we haven't been given that title in the traditional sense of the way that those are designated. We actually earned our title, which is quite, it's nice. It's nice to be recognized, for all the hard work that the kids put in and that our staff puts in, on a daily basis. And we're grateful. We really are grateful for that. And we like we've, even the discussions we've had, for years, we've never wanted to take anything away from Booker High, because Booker High, has such a huge, long, staple. They're such a big staple, in the Sarasota community. And it wasn't for us becoming a VPA or wanting to become a VPA, wasn't to be like a competitive thing. It's never been that. It's always been about just giving our students down here in this area, giving them something, that's special, that they can be proud of. And we've definitely have pulled the numbers, in the arts for many, many years. A lot of people, I know when I go, to different conferences and things like that and talk to people, and they're like, oh, how many students do you have? Things like that. They're shocked at our numbers because, our numbers have always been high, here at Northport. And the fact that we're able to support and train so many kids, be able to have the opportunity to give kids, it's it's nice, and it's unique, I think, in that aspect, because I know not every area can do that. Not every school district can do that. And the fact that we're able to give these students this opportunity. I mean, I have several students whose families, can't afford private lessons, or to put their kids in studios or things like that. And I mean, I personally, I can speak for myself that, I mean, I've had dancers that started their freshman year in dance and never trained in dance before, and went through college and are now working as professional dancers, like in New York City. Like I have one currently that's there right now. That's, and she also is a recording artist as well too. And she never sang until I think it was her junior or senior year. And I think I talked her into doing the musical the one year, and she ended up as one of the backup singers when we did it was when we did Little Shop. And it's Alexia I can't even like speak today. She goes by Alexia is that's her like stage name. So but she's Alexia Ema Manderson. So and she just took everything. She was like a big sponge. She just took everything that she could learn here at the high school, and took that into college and took that on to her own. And she is an extremely independent, very serious about the way that she markets herself, and not letting other people in the industry, dictate the direction she goes. She's very smart about that, which that can be kind of a difficult thing, navigating, the professional industry sometimes, because people want to put you into a little box, and market you a certain way. And she's very intelligent in the way that, she stays true to herself in the way that she wants to present herself and everything. So I think that's, being able to get the kids, from high school, these are stepping stones. If we can try to give them the skills here to be able to get them, to where the direction that pointed in the right direction where they want to go, so that they can continue to grow. I feel like that's really important. And our school here, I've always approached it since I walked in day one as I didn't want to be in competition with the dance studios down here. I wanted the dance program at Northport High School to be a support to that. So what you were saying though about the connecting with the elementary and middles, we don't have a defined feeder program in South County. And that is really something that I would like to see further developed. I think we're at that point now in, just in time to be able to start branching that out and building that out, but we definitely need to get, have the support of the school district, the board, and also the arts, our arts heads there at the district, to be able to help, make that a very pointed effort, to be able to help us build that out, because I know our staff here would like to see that. Because when the kids, have that chance to have that exposure at a young age, then, they can come in with a little bit of some stronger skills, basic skills, and that coming in that we at the high school can continue to further develop, and continue to help them get to those directions and those goals that the kids are interested in and really want to go to, and make sure that really does happen, for them.
Well, and I want to say this, because whether you're a sponsor listening or someone who wants to participate in the run, or somebody who wants to go to the event, somebody who wants to have their stuff featured in the arts
Mhm.
area. Uh, Seriously, if you step back and uh, open the dialogue that you and all of us have at times with the frustration, I think, a lot of times of maybe not having clarification on what to do on a Saturday, maybe not understanding why it's important to give back. I want to highlight something through you because I have been part of the program for a long time.
Mhm.
There's definite growth that
Right.
happens with theater kids and other kids that are associated with the theater kids,
Mhm.
and it comes in different formats. And we've had at both ends of the school, whether it be for sports or theater, we've had kids that lost at or too young an age.
Mhm.
All kids together. That should be of value to sponsors out there. This should be something that sponsors should wrap their arms around and say, it's time to support our local high school. It's time to give back to them because life does move forward no matter how many hurdles that you throw at some of these kids.
True.
And there are a lot of kids out there with a lot of hurdles.
Mhm.
Um, can you talk about and we've got, and I know I told you it would go too quick, but we've got about 8 minutes left
Okay.
of our 55-minute conversation. But can you talk a little bit about why a sponsor or someone who comes to the event itself is the impactful part for the program?
Okay. I feel like any of our sponsors or anyone that's interested in being a sponsor, the things that you give to the kids here at our school are a sense of belonging and a family. And if you talk to any of our students um, here at our high school that are involved in these programs, this is their second family. You know, this is their school family, and this is what makes them, several of them, get up in the morning and come to school. And and it helps to drive them to finish school. And I mean, we have kids that struggle academically, all the way up to kids that are, they have no struggles, you know what I mean, whatsoever. So being part of these programs, it really does give a chance for all of those kids, regardless of where your struggles are or what they are. It gives them a chance to come together and support one another. And that it's a really nice thing to see when you start to see the kids reach out to each other and support one another, when they're involved in programs like this. Because sometimes you get kids, and we get a pretty eclectic mixture of kids in each program too. It's not just one type of kid or one like-minded,
Right.
group of kids. Like, trust me, they have their moments too, where they have arguments and discussions and things like that too. But they learn how to work together, because the one thing that they all have in common is they all have a common goal. They all want to do well. They all want to be successful at what they're doing, and they want to enjoy. They want to have fun. And this is a good way, for, I think, all of them to be supportive of one another and to grow and learn together. And the one thing I think I've seen this year, like not just this year, but over the past couple of years with the kids that we have in several programs, because even though I'm one of the dance teachers, I have my daughter's a drummer in the band, and in the band program. And I've had both my daughters have been involved in the art program as well here at the school. My oldest daughter is a dancer. She was involved in the dance program here, and she was also involved in choir when she was in middle school, and things like that. And I know when the kids, build those friendships, and that it does it they learn how to be, I think, a more caring person, across the board. And like I said, it gives them a sense of pride and belonging here at the high school. And, when they go out to represent our school, they take that seriously. And it really does, it's nice because every time they step out the door and, like we're getting ready to go to state assessment in Tampa, with several other high schools from all over the state. And, every time those kids, go out there, they're like, okay, that's Northport High School. That's their impression of Northport High School, is their interaction with those kids. And, it's always nice anytime, we get compliments and that from other people. I mean, with my daughter being part of, marching band and the drum line, and that they go out competitively all over the place, all over the state. And we always get compliments, on the kids and, how they handle themselves and how well trained they are as musicians. And it's nice, to hear that and get that feedback, from other people that are not part of our community and don't know our kids. And I will tell you, because of that, like when we had the hurricane just recently, I can't even tell you how many acquaintances and even friends that I have throughout the state, other areas, that were calling me up and they're like, what do your kids need? And these aren't people that are in our community. These are people outside of our community that were concerned for our community and our kids.
Yep.
They were like, do your kids need new shoes? Do your kids need this? Do your kids need that? And so we worked with them. Sarasota Contemporary, actually, speaking of our community, Sarasota Contemporary Dance Company actually took up donations at one of their performances up there in Sarasota, because Lamus knew, our kids were going to need some support, to be able to help take care of them and provide, some of the things that we normally, that we like to do for them. So she and her company pulled together and donated, gave us a very nice donation to help, make sure our kids had what they needed for their performances. Once we were able to get our PAC back open, because our PAC was shut down for about a month, our Performing Arts Center, because we had some leaks and things like that from it that had to be repaired. And, fortunately, we have, as a community, I feel like we have been bouncing back quite quickly. And I think that's because of everybody, supporting one another. And then the outside, our outside communities that are our neighbors and that have been, gracious enough to come and check in on us and make sure that we're doing okay, and make sure that we have what we need and what we need to, or whatever, or been patient with us on deadlines for things and stuff like that kind of pushed us back a little bit. But it's important. And, the more that we as a community can support each other, like I said, we don't want anything to be one-sided where it's just the community supporting us, the kid, us here at the high school. I mean, we've offered to come out and perform, and things like that for events. I think we had a car dealership one time that donated money to us, and they were like, would you guys be willing to be part of one of our commercials? We're like, absolutely, So, I mean, there's things that we can do, to give back, to the community and to help out with things, but, just let us know, let us know what you need. And I'm in a position now to where I can work with the community and talk with the community. If people want to reach out to me, and contact me, I'm, more than happy, to try to make connections and see what we can do, to, find some good fits for ways that we can, that we can give back as well too.
Well, I'm glad you went there, because the connection that I was trying to draw was that there is a direct connection to support both ways.
Mm-hmm.
And, our community is a young community, uh, and we're learning that we have to support the high school. We're still learning that. We've got great support in our elementary and our middle schools.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for some reason, we see a drop off when the kids get a little older, and I want to just throw a caution to the wind here a little bit and say that just because your kid is older doesn't mean they need to be forgotten at the high school level.
Exactly.
I think that's where they're needed the
More.
most attention. It may not need to be thumbs on, pushing down. It may be time to inspire them to either correct or move forward or find a way to build their life up in an upward momentum. And I commend you guys because I know all of you, and I know that you work very diligent at doing that. And I appreciate everything that you guys do. I've got about 2 seconds to get off the air or I'm going to be in trouble, but I really appreciate the time. Thank you, Michelle, for being part of the show. And, if you want to come on again before the show or before your event, please let me know. I'll pop you on for maybe a 5 or 10 minute thing, and we can just put it out there again with another guest that's on that day. So
no problem.
I will talk at you soon.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Not a problem. This is John Rawlings with Real Talk Radio saying thanks. Have a good night and be safe driving home. There's no reason to go to the hospital today. Just be careful. Slow down on 75. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.